Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I promise I will stop saying that. I'm stealing Dave's catchphrase again because it's fun. It works. Everyone seems to enjoy it. But welcome back to Anfield Index. It's been not a great 24 hours following that defeat against AC Milan. And they said Aston Villa then, but no. None of that, please. AC Milan, that pre-season game yesterday, we're going to go into detail on that. Also looking at why Luis Diaz, why Darwin Nunez weren't involved in the match. I think it's pretty obvious why they weren't, to be honest. And we're also going to touch on the Joe Gomez injury, any new updates with Alexander Isak, which at this point, I don't think there's anything else to discuss other than we want him, he wants us, so let's just get the deal done, pay the man his money, and get Alexander Isak through the door. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. The support's been incredible recently. Everyone's so happy with the way that things have been going. And yeah, just get involved in the chat. Let us know what you think about the AC Milan match yesterday. Are you excited despite the result? Are you disappointed? Do you think we could have done better? Do you think we were poor? What players stood out to you? There was a few that stood out to me, and we're going to touch on them very briefly because I don't think many people people care about pre-season, but people don't care about pre-season. They care about pre-season when it matters, when you win, and when we lose, it's pre-season. And there were still positives to take from that match. It wasn't all doom and gloom. It wasn't all misery. We didn't get absolutely thumped and then have no retaliation or no positives. There was a lot of good things to come out of that pre-season game against Milan. Before we get into that, just some information I saw and watched the interview with Robbie Fowler today talking about Isak on Redmen TV video. Robbie gave a massive clue, smiling ear to ear sign. It's done. I'm happy to ask them. I am friends with them, so I can ask them and be like, does Robbie Fowler know if we've signed Isak? And if they say yes, then I'm sure we will get a positive response. But I mean, yeah, let's just take all this with a pinch of salt. It'd be great to get Alexander Isak. We'll get that towards the end because we discussed it at length yesterday. And yeah, please get a centre-back after Isak, please. And again, we'll touch on the centre-back issues. We're going to quickly run through the AC Milan match because I think that was the big talking point following yesterday, only for a moment or two, just to go through some of the positives. As you can see, we got absolutely thumped. I think it's fair to say Milan completely dominated us not in possession, not in like terms of overall play, but scoring first from Leao. Szoboszlai gets his incredible finish. Hoping to see more of that next season. And then from then on, it's just counter-attack. Milan just completely outran us. In all honesty, like the stats, this is why I'm not a big stat person when it comes to matches. We completely battered Milan in terms of we dominated possession. They had more of the big chances because their chances were a bit more clear-cut. We just didn't seem to get going. There was no, we couldn't get a rhythm going in the match. It just felt like get it to the edge of the box, go side to side, try and find space, and inevitably the ball would get crossed into the box. It led to Gakpo's goal, but it led to a lot of missed chances for us as well. Moments where you just thought, have a shot. Ryan Gravenberch did it, and the one time he did it, it challenged the keeper. So maybe this is something we need to work on going forward. Maybe this is something that's going to be a bit of an issue. Perhaps we just need to be challenging the keeper more. We don't necessarily need to be playing this break them down, possession-based football on the edge of the box because it didn't amount to much. Milan defended very well. And overall, it was a poor performance, so to speak, but it was also a pre-season match in which everyone's trying to get back up to fitness. And mistakes happen. Big mistakes happen. There was a couple that were just, it was just, there was a couple of individual errors, a couple of poor performances that hampered what was otherwise an average performance. I care not about friendlies, it's about getting up to match fitness. Yeah, and again, this is the same. If you do well in pre-season, everyone says pre-season is really important. If you do poor in pre-season, people say it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's just about getting up to fitness. Van Dijk didn't quite look up to fitness. Mamardashvili looked like he was still settling in, although I don't blame him for the goal that he conceded. I don't blame him for the fourth goal. I actually blame Tsimikas for that because the pass back to him was, it was woeful. Robertson looked off the pace, especially for the build-up to that third goal, I believe it was, just out of position, left so much space in behind him, and you can't be doing that. We just looked defensively inept, And like I said, we had Elliott and Doak up front, to be fair, Isak and Ekitike, and it all changes. And that was the thing that we missed so much. We were so reliant on putting the ball into the box, passing it round the edge of the box, trying to find space for someone to cross it in. Had you an Ekitike there, 6'2.5", had you an Isak there, the height he is, there would have been someone on the end of it, instead of relying on, Gakpo at one point, Salah at another, Frimpong was the guy on the back post. Like, he's small as is, so we just lack that aerial presence, and I think this is why the signing of Ekitike adds another dimension to how we're going to play. He's not going to be just a running behind kind of player. He is someone who you can stick in the box and is great in the air, but we do need more options up top. I think that was made evidently clear yesterday. There was a real lack of ability through the middle at points, but Rio and Gamoa, though, can we, seriously... I know every time one of these wonder kids comes up through the ranks, people are so quick to just immediately jump on them and say, wow, he's going to be the next big thing. But it's hard to argue with Rio and Gamoa's overall. But he looked incredible yesterday. Let me just see if I can move my fat head out of the way. That's not what I wanted. Okay, well, this is poor from me. Let me just see if I can actually move my head out the way. Give me 2 seconds. No. Okay, well, I will read them out then, because apparently I can't see them. Minutes played. That's Rio and Gamoa. There we go. We got 1 assist. Obviously, Dominic Szoboszlai, 70% accurate passes. He's not someone who's going to pass the ball and go. He's much more someone who's going to run at defenders. Dribble attempts 4, 3 of them were successful. He won 4 of his 7 ground duels. He did lose possession 7 times, but that's to be expected given the way he plays, and he was tackled once. But he's just got so much energy about him, Rio and Gamoa, and we've seen in the past how many times that he's... How many times in the past that we've seen these young up-and-coming stars and we've propelled them to the moon and said, this is going to be the next big person. We did it with Jordan Ibe. I remember when Sean Dundee first came in and people were like, oh my God, he's going to be incredible. He's just come from the German league. He's going to be absolutely flying. Didn't work. Florent Simon Pongoye, that's another one. There's a lot of these players who you see building up through the ranks and you just think there's something there. This lad's 16 and he's making the other players around him look poor by comparison. He's just gone up against AC Milan, be it in a pre-season match, be it in whatever have you. He's still, he dominated. He looked so comfortable. He looked so comfortable where he was in the team. And if we can get his average position here, it's Rio and Gamoa left wing. He likes to stick right to the left-hand side. He's so good at beating a man for pace, going inside, staying on the outside. He's so diverse. There's a comment saying he's like Doku, but it feels he will mature much quicker. Decision making has already improved tenfold since last year. 100%. That Accrington Stanley match, I think that was his debut. I believe that was I went to that one, and he's so good on the ball. He's great at running with it. It was just what he did next. Was he going to pass it off to someone? Was he going to run into space? It always felt like his first instinct was to run down the byline, get into the corner, and try and beat a man. The match yesterday and the match against Preston showed that he's a lot more capable in the system that we want to play. He's happy to give the ball and go. He's happy to pass it off to someone. And you need players like that. You need these young people that are going to push the likes of Gakpo, Diaz, while he's still here technically, who are going to say to them, right, this is what's coming through. We have to improve. We have to continue to get better. And having a Rio and Gamoa, who is a third choice at the moment, I wouldn't be against them stepping up and becoming a more regular player in this team. Adds some versatility to his game. He's an aggressive player you can bring on against the team who are deciding to sit deep. He can run at them, try and beat a man, create space for others. I'm happy with the way that he's been integrated into this team. He came here from Chelsea because there was clearly a sign that he could get into the first team, a way in which he could build up to that. And he's not let us down so far. I think the comparisons to Doku, I get it, but what we've got to understand is Doku is in his early 20s. This is 16 years old. 16, he's making this sizable of an impact. It's like when Raheem Sterling started making his initial come up after we signed him from QPR. He had that incredible match against was it Morecambe or was it Southend? I think it was Southend in the Youth Cup, and he scored like 5 goals or something daft like that. He then gets pushed into the first team for Rodgers, and he flies. That's the last player I can think of that we've played at such a young age who's had such a meaningful impact. People will say Conor Bradley, but I'm talking like in an attacking sense. Are we sure Frimpong was brought on as right back, by the way? Hates him at right wing, but he's even less physical than I thought to play right back. He was right wing, Conor Bradley was the right back. Frimpong's job was stay out wide, spread the play, and then run into the box like you're the man at the back post, because he's got that burst of acceleration. He can give someone a yard or two of pace and then run past them. He's got that in him. That's his play style. He's just a very, very fast, low centre of gravity player. And that moment where he got through on goal, I can't remember the exact minute. I need to rewatch the match back. Where he beats the man for pace, first touch is brilliant. That's going to be how he plays. I think he's someone who we've brought in because he can play right wing, and at a push you can play him at right back. But the physicality is a concern, but his overall pace, ability on the ball, I think Jeremy Frimpong looked superb yesterday when he was playing. When he was in the forward parts of the pitch, when he was upper, like towards the attack and third. Further back, yeah, there's question marks. He can be a bit defensively inept, I suppose is the right word, but he's going to improve. He's going to get integrated more into the system. Maybe Slot sees him as someone who can play right wing and right back if you absolutely need them to. Maybe this is why Conor Bradley is going to become the first teamer. This is why he was given the new contract. This is why he's being pushed as the first team right back. Frimpong's going to be a rotation right back and a rotation right winger. Maybe if you're playing a team who's got high line, Frimpong's the man to use at right back because there's going to be so much space to exploit. If you're playing a team like a City or a Tottenham, maybe a Chelsea and Arsenal, maybe Conor Bradley is the way to go. They're very different players who offer you different things, and I'm happy with that. I would rather have 2 right backs who can do 2 different jobs entirely than 2 people who are the exact same, just competing for the same role. There's versatility there. There's different options. And while Frimpong did look a bit suspect, I suppose is the word at right back, it's someone you can play there at an absolute push. It was a preseason match, not even a friendly. It was played at 60% of a league game. Don't read anything into preseason, means absolutely nothing. And that's why we're only sticking on it for a moment. We're going to move on in a minute. The year we won the league with Klopp, we lost every preseason game. I said this yesterday, and the rest is history, so don't even think about panic stations. No, the panic stations need to be ended. This was just to say that the people who played well yesterday, Florian Wirtz, I'm so excited to see what he does. Jeremy Frimpong, Rio and Gamoa, and a great goal by Gakpo and a great goal by Szoboszlai. So when we were good in the 80s, we used to get pumped in most preseason games. Wasn't any fallout for it. A lot of stuff flying in. Just keep it going. Honestly, it's great. I think he should be sick forward. Anything more on his rushing game. Need another versatile forward with Fofana. Well, Fofana's in talks with Everton at the minute. So I don't know. I'm hoping this is like a Robinho where he thinks he's going United, but he ends up going City. I hope he thinks he's coming to us, because that would be hysterical. I hope we don't rush Rio. I completely agree. We saw what happened with Gerrard towards the beginning of his career. He started getting a lot of injuries. I think it was groin problems and back problems, because he was just being played over and over again. And Michael Owen, of course, is the most famous example of someone young bursting into the team, suffering repeat injuries because he was just pushed to the moon and he was played consistently. Most of the players that played yesterday were just playing so they can be sold, so it was an advertisement, really. Tyler Moore, and I'd agree with on that one. Yeah, I think that's fair enough. When Barnes, Rush and Hill-Whelan were playing pre-season against Crewe and lost 4-0 to have a record-breaking season. Yep, and this is what I mean. You know. Oh, apparently Fofana said no to Everton as well. I'm not going to say a word on that. But anyway, Frimpong will be our starting right back, not at a push. I don't know. I really don't know. I do think Bradley is still going to be fighting for that first team spot. I think he's maybe more suited at the beginning. I think Frimpong's going to be someone you can bring on when you need a bit. You can start when you've got more space to work with. Like, our first match is Bournemouth. There's going to be a lot of space to exploit, especially given how weak they are at the back. So I think Frimpong maybe does start that one. But I think against them, we've got Newcastle. I expect Bradley to start. We've got Arsenal long after that. I expect Bradley to start. I just think they're going to rotate a lot of the time. Gerrard had an underlying health issue, not because he played too much. So, he's I think there was something that was saying that he had the health problems, but because he was overexerted as a kid, like in terms of football, and because he had growth issues, there was people who were saying like that contributed to the problem. He went to see the same doctor who was in charge of Owen's hamstring issues. I can't quite. It's like a German man. He's got like 4 long words for a name. But there was, he was playing a lot at the time, and that didn't really help. And he kept getting groin issues. And it wasn't until he got it all sorted and corrected, that's when he started to come back into the main fold. There will be a lot more room for rotation this coming season, so no one's losing their place, just the team doing what great teams do. And that's exactly, there's no, you can have a great starting 11, but if your bench and your rotation options are poor, you're not going to get anywhere. This is no one losing their spot. I just think that it's going to be like horses for courses, where Frimpong's going to come in certain matches, Bradley's going to come in certain matches. If Salah needs a rest, Frimpong will go at right wing. It's just, everyone's going to rotate a bit more. There's going to be a lot more versatility in options. Bradley and Frimpong are very different players who offer you very different things. Frimpong's probably better going forward. Bradley's definitely better defensively. And I just think, depending on who you're playing, one or the other is going to start more likely. But if you buy a Diaz replacement, you block Rio's path. And, I think with everything that's been going on now with Luis Diaz... Well, actually, do I want to do Diaz? No, you know what? Because we just finished the pre-season talk, we'll mention this one. So obviously we know there were 2 players who weren't included in the match yesterday. There was no Darwin Nunez, and there was no Luis Diaz. And this is what Darwin Nunez had to put on his Instagram straight after the 4-2 defeat to AC Milan. And we saw it a few months ago when Nunez started getting very talkative on Instagram, and it caused a lot of issues. He had to delete his tweets or whatever. He's doing it again, and I suppose this time he knows he's going to be leaving. The big thing for me about this is, even when Napoli was still there or thereabouts for Nunez, and there was discussions and they were trying to negotiate, he was still included in the Preston match, did very well in the Preston match. This says that he is 100% going. If Saudi are in for Nunez, and he's not even included in the squad now, this just says to me that he's gone. Because, like we saw against Preston, even if he's in discussion, he should still be there or thereabouts in case something falls through. It's just time to get a shot. And look, he's given incredible moments. Like, he definitely has given us some phenomenal moments. I've said it like a billion times. You've got Brentford, you've got Newcastle, you've got Forest, you've got Bournemouth in the League Cup, the Man City Community Shield, Real Madrid, like that goal. But he's done now. There's no... he's in his 3rd season, and there's still question marks over whether or not he's good enough. And I think if you're in that position, you're not good enough. Nunez is a very good player when he's able to work with space, when he's able to run in behind. He's not good on the ball. And that's the problem with him, is we need someone who's able to create for others, like we're going to see with an Ekitike, like we're going to see with an Alexander Isak if he comes in. Someone who's good at running in behind, but someone who's also good creatively for those around him, like a Salah, like a Gakpo, like a Diaz if he was staying, but he's probably not. He's just not what Slot wants. And like Fabrizio said, Darwin Nunez also not even on the bench for Liverpool today, as is still 100% expected to leave. I'm grateful for the moments that Darwin Nunez give, but I don't understand what his logic is. He's saying, who are you going to blame now? We lost matches last season that you weren't involved in, and no one was blaming you. No one was saying, this is your fault. We've lost matches when he was in the team. It doesn't, I can't understand the logic. It's like he's all fine, well and good, thinking that he's this faultless player who gets a lot of the blame and a lot of the stick. The reason he gets a lot of the stick is because he misses easy chances in matches, which if he scores, we get a result. We saw it against Everton in Klopp's last season, that 2-0 defeat at Goodison. He was awful that day. Aston Villa last season, the draw, he missed big chances. He missed big chances in the Europa League. He missed big chances against City and Arsenal. He does it time after time again. And then as soon as people say he's not good enough, suddenly he becomes, not my fault. I think he thinks he's better than what he is. And it's not a disrespect because he's a talented player. I think if he goes to La Liga, if he goes to the Bundesliga, if he goes to, even if he went to the Italian league, I think he'd do very well in that system. But I can't understand his logic of this, thinking, I'm trying to go to a new club. The best way for me to represent myself and to showcase that I'm someone who's going to fit the system, someone who's a very positive player, someone who's going to contribute to the positive mentality of the dressing room, is to put up Instagram stories where I'm going to sit there and say, all right, who are you going to blame now? I don't understand his logic. I understand that we've not been the most respectful people of Nunez at points. I get that. Wijnaldum went through a similar sort of problem. But I don't grasp how he thinks that this is the way to go. You're getting your move away. It's not our fault that Napoli wouldn't stump up what we want as a club. It's our prerogative to say we want X amount, like Newcastle are doing. Newcastle are saying we want this amount for Isak. If someone's going to pay it, great, i.e. us. If they're not, he'll stay there. Nunez is in the same boat. It's not our fault that the only league that is interested in paying the amount that you want is Saudi, because that's where your talents are best. I just don't grasp the logic, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Darwin just having his last dance, he's right, but he's only right on that last game. He was really judged over 2 seasons. We've got 3 seasons of track record evidence on Nunez that say he's just not good enough. And let's not forget, we signed Darwin Nunez the season after we were 2 games away from winning the quadruple. And the expectation, I think, is what killed him. He was being compared to Haaland because they signed at the same time. He was being touted as, look at Klopp's track record for bringing him forwards or utilising forwards who other managers brought in, like Firmino, Salah, Mane, Origi, Jota at that point. Brought in Darwin, a lot of hype, a lot of expectation, a lot of money. He didn't live up to it. That's not our fault, because it's not a case of he's not been given chances, the system's wrong for him. He's been given chance after chance after chance to showcase his talent and his ability. If he continues to fluff it, if he's the one who continues to miss those chances and doesn't perform up to a top level like is expected of him, there's nothing we can do for that. That's why he's being moved on. An attitude like this is ruining what otherwise could be viewed as a bittersweet career with us. He does contribute to a lot of goals. He does contribute to a lot of assists. He has given us big moments. Doing this is destroying it. It's completely ruining how people will perceive you. And if you go to a new club, you can't act like this. This is what I was saying about Osimhen. Osimhen went on a live stream where he was criticising the national team manager for his national team. I forgot it off the top of my head. I think it's Nigeria. And immediately he got utterly rinsed for it, and rightfully so. I didn't want him with us, because who's to say that's not going to happen down the line? He goes to Saudi, a league which is notoriously known for being a poor league, poorly ran. Benzema said it, and Kante mentioned it at one point. Jota already left there, the Celtic Jota. And now Nunez is going to go there, and if he doesn't like it, what is he going to be spouting off stuff like this? It does not make sense to me. That miss Luton killed us in the 23-24 season. Yeah, completely for blank that one from my memory. And Newcastle last season in the 3-0 draw. That was another big one. I think the price tag on Nunez was a heavy price for him to carry. There's a good player in there. Do you think he's more of a winger? I've said a million times, I think he's better as a winger. I think he's better when he's not got the pressure of being an out-and-out goal scorer on him. When he's someone who's got space to run at defenders, when he's someone whose main task is pick up the ball and run with it. When he does that, he's great. When it comes to him being the under-pressure finisher in big moments, he's done it in the past. Absolutely. Newcastle, Brentford, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, etc., etc. But when it's on a consistent basis, he misses chances that I've seen very few people miss. We've seen Maxi Rodriguez against Chelsea. We saw Salah against Bournemouth. We saw Alvaro Arbeloa against Charlton Athletic. So many big chances. Nunez's are just... He's got about 4 of them. There's 4 that I named there, or 3 even. I can think of 4 that Nunez has done. I have to struggle to remember big ones, like Balotelli against QPR, Ronnie Rosenthal against Aston Villa, Robbie Fowler against Nottingham Forest. Like, there's so many. But Nunez just has a multitude of different ones that you can remember. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this is the attitude you should be projecting on your departure to the club if you're wanting to be remembered in a positive mindset. Logic and Nunez should not be used in the same sentence as football IQ. And again, this just sounds like I'm actually ragging on him, but I don't know what else there is to say. Why is no one looking at Wharton? I think he'd be perfect for us. I completely agree. I want Adam Wharton. I know Tottenham were interested, but nope, I want him. I was reading a post from one of his old trainers in Uruguay, and he was saying Darwin had serious mental health issues from a young age from online quotes about him. How old was he? I'd need to know. I need to know about that one. He's not endearing himself to potential shooters, and he must read all the shite he receives online to act like this. And look, it's his prerogative. I do think he gets a lot of unnecessary grief at points, but this is not helping him. And I think that it's best to move on from Darwin Nunez's situation because we know he's leaving. There's nothing we can We want Nunez gone, not because he's been an awful player. It's more just because it's not going to work. There's big money to be gained there from him. We've got other people that we're trying to sign. And people are saying, well, he did good against Preston. Maybe that should be it. He scored a hat-trick against Leipzig in the season we signed him. And look what happened then. That was probably his best season for us. And even then, it was viewed poorly. So, I don't know. I just don't see the logic in keeping him. He's probably going to go off to Saudi. That's the one that's being touted around. For the price tag that we want, it's best for him. It's best for us. Good payday for Darwin. Good payday for us. Especially if it's being coupled with the Luis Diaz one. Because Luis Diaz as well also missed the match yesterday against AC Milan. Bayern Munich are the club that are coming in for him. Around 80 million euros. Which I think equates to about £68 million or thereabouts. I'm not 100% certain. But understand Luis Diaz is getting close to a move to Bayern and likely for under 80 million euros. Still some work to be done. Diaz heading to Tokyo with the rest of the FC team, but an agreement with Bayern is not far off. So he's travelling, okay? He's actually travelling with the team to Tokyo. I don't know what the sense is. I'm not 100% certain because I think making him travel all that way just for an agreement to come through in the next 24 hours, 48 hours is a bit... Unless Bayern... Where's Bayern's pre-season? Let me have a look. Bayern Munich pre-season. Let's see where Bayern Munich is. The German records, one day after the finals. Let's see. Where is Bayern's pre-season tournament? Bayern Munich begin the title... It doesn't say. It really doesn't say. I suppose they're not because they've just had the Club World Cup, actually. So maybe they're not. I don't know. But look, Luis Diaz to Bayern. This is a big one for us. So from what I read the other day, Diaz's deal was 40 million euros across 3 years. And then after 5 years, we have to pay another 20 million euros. So it's 80 in total. That's why we've been holding up the price tag. That's why we've been saying we want this much for him. If we manage to get £65 million plus for someone on 2 years left on his contract, coming up to 29 years of age, who doesn't want to be at the club, that is phenomenal business. Literally, that is one of the best deals we've got from a Premier League sale. Someone who does not want to be at the club anymore has made that pretty open and clear, and his dad has as well on a multitude of times. Someone who's got 2 years left on his contract, which by all logic should get us into panic stations because it either means he's going to lose them in a free soon or a cheaper deal next summer because he's not going to sign a new one. For that amount of money, plus the Darwin fee, you can bring in an Isak. And there's people saying that we need like 6 or 7 senior attackers. You need a good number, I agree. But Slot has said a multitude of times, I want to see a smaller squad. Now, let's say that we sell Diaz, we sell Nunez, and you bring in Isak. That's an Isak, an Ekitike, a Salah, a Frimpong you can play there, a Cody Gakpo, a Rio Engamoa, and Chiesa's still here at the moment. I know he's probably going to be sold, but he's still an option. So what's that, 7 different attackers? It's not the same. I understand that Engamoa is not to Diaz's level yet. I understand that Frimpong is not what people want to see as a right winger necessarily. But there is options there. There would be depth. And what you bring in an Isak or an Ekitike up top makes up for the goal scoring prowess of a Diaz on the left, or what a Frimpong would probably get if you replace Salah on the right at some point. There is so much versatility and depth there. If we can get this amount for Diaz, I think that is one of our best deals. It's up there with selling Benteke for the same price that we bought him for. It's up there with Solanke. It's up there with Ibe, Vandenberg, Carvalho. We're so good at getting what we want money-wise. And Diaz is look, he's a quality player. We all know what Diaz is capable of. He's very, very good. He's a very talented player. But I just think if we just look at it from the perspective of money, we are not going to extend Diaz's contract. If we said no to Bayern, it's purely to ramp the price up. We are not going to say no to Bayern and not offer Luis Diaz a new contract. That is not going to happen. We are not going to give him more money at this age. It's very rare that new contracts are given to players at Liverpool, like approaching their 30s or in their 30s. We saw Salah and Van Dijk, but they're otherworldly levels of quality. Diaz is coming up to that 30-year mark. There's big gaps in his form. We're not going to up his wages. We're not going to put him on a new 4-year deal until he's, 33, 32, something along that. There is so many reasons to sell him this summer. This is as much money as we're going to get for a Luis Diaz at any point. Next summer, we would not get close to this because you'd only have 1 year left on his deal after that, and some people will be willing to wait. Some people will be offering us cheap fees, like we saw with Trent and Madrid. This is the perfect time to sell him. There must be an identifiable left-wing option there. Maybe Rio Ngamoa is the one being touted with being the replacement. Maybe it is somehow a Rodrigo, even though the reports are saying no. Maybe if Fofana said no to Everton, we're going in for him. Who knows? But this is the right time to sell Diaz. And I think when we talk about him, it is easy to forget just how good Luis Diaz actually is as a whole. He's a very, very capable player. I'm going to read the comments first, just before I do get into the stats. Give me 2 seconds here. We still need a quality winger if Diaz goes. Rodrigo is on 200k at the moment. He would probably want a lot more. I know that was the big breaking point, was that he wants around 250k, which I'm not opposed to. For Rodrigo, Champions League winner twice. He's one of the best progressive ball players in Europe, actually the world. I'm fine if we give the money on a Rodrigo. I think we need to. An injury-prone Isak, an unknown Ekitike. We're playing Jones as false 9 in October. Don't think we are, let's be honest here. So where does Jones fit in the squad? I think Jones is going to be that sort of rotation for Gravenberch at the moment. We don't have anyone else there who can naturally play as the number 6 in the same way that Gravenberch does. I know we've got Endo. Endo is your Michael Thomas, Mark Walters, James Milner. Bring them on, grind out the game, get us through the match. Endo is not your progressive ball player. He's not someone who's comfortable on the ball. He's not a distributor. He's a brick shithouse you stick in midfield to win the ball back. Jones, for me, I think is going to operate in the deeper role, or maybe Szoboszlai will, and Jones will be the rotation for Wirtz. Who knows? I think Jones is more suited when he's a bit further back. Up top, he has moments. You can be capable of holding onto the ball too long, but I think when you're a bit further back, you've got more time to work with it. If you're higher up the pitch, there's a lot more defensive pressure on you. I would like to see him as that rotation role for a Gravenberch personally. Whether that'll happen, I'm not too sure. Isak watch Diaz watch next week. It's up to Bayern to pay up. Yeah, and they are. This is the last. They've said this is the final deal, and I'm happy with this amount of money for a Luis Diaz. But like I said, Diaz is far from a bad player. He really, really is. And I think there is a narrative around him that he's just really poor. He was our second highest goal scorer last season, and we're still talking about someone who's capable of challenging the best left wingers in the Premier League, Europe even. That's why Bayern want him, and they've said they want him as someone who can immediately come in and propel us, like take us to that next level immediately. They've got the likes of Gnabry, there's Koeman, there's Sane, who some of them are leaving, some of them have left. They need someone ready-made to go. Diaz is progressive carries, top 27% in the Premier League last season. Progressive passes received, top 14%. You look at his goals there, top 4% for left wingers. Average shot distance. He's so good at running in behind. That's his main skill set. He's an amazing player at finding space. It's this where he lacks. It's his passes. It's his overall pass and play. Passes into the final third. Passes into the penalty area. Crosses into the penalty area. Progressive passes. He's good on the ball. He's good at running into space. He's not someone who's great at distributing for others. He's not someone who's going to be a ball-playing left winger like Gakpo is. Gakpo's more suited to that. And I think that's what Slot wants. He doesn't want someone who's just a pace merchant. He doesn't want someone who's just immediately, who's just purely good at running into the corner with it. He wants someone who can create for others. And yeah, there's people saying that stuff's gone on. Let me just double check. What's this? Jones rejected his first contract offer buying. Sky Sports saying it's close. Diaz to buy and final details. Is that Sterling, Dan? What have I missed? Someone let me know what's going on. What it is that I've. Oh, there we go. Liverpool are in advanced talks with Bayern Munich. Let me just cast this actually so that I can. Share the screen. There we go. Liverpool are in advanced talks with Bayern Munich over a deal for Luis Diaz. The German champions have returned with a second offer believed to be around £69 million. Final details are being discussed. 69 million pounds for someone 2 years left in their 30s. Bargain, absolute bargain. I think that we've completely robbed Bayern blind, and that's not a criticism on Diaz's talent. I just think for the age, the contract situation, that is a great amount of money to be receiving for Luis Diaz. It's the right time to sell him. He wants to go. We want the money. We don't see him in the system maybe anymore. I'm fine with it. It's disappointing because he's given us a lot of good moments, a lot of good matches, but that's money that can be used on an XTK. That's money that could be used on a Fofana and a Gahey. Defensive options are a must, and we'll get into that now because we saw yesterday just how open we were in the defensive aspect in the match. Joe Gomez obviously departed Liverpool's pre-season tour of Asia yesterday due to an injury. It's like we never. I am shocked. I am absolutely shocked that Joe Gomez. I dropped my phone. Then I'm not shocked. He's not in his 30s. He's 20. I know I said he's approaching his 30s. He's going to be 29 very soon. So he's only a couple of years away from being 30. And at that point, Diaz is probably going to slow down. We're not going to recoup anywhere near the money that we want for him. It's the right time to be selling him. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, Joe Gomez left the tour yesterday, injured again. At this point, we were going into At this point, I've said so many times. I said it on Redmen. I've said it on Transfer. I've said it here. I would have sold Gomez in the summer and kept Quansah. Looking back, in hindsight, yeah, I completely get why Quansah was sold. He wanted to go. You can get more money for him. Got the buyback clause. But look at what I've never seen someone so consistently injured with big term issues. Like, if I can get the injury record, there was a really interesting article that I can find here. Let me just see if I can find it. That's not the one. There we go. Joe Gomez, a number of days out injured to injuries for Liverpool per season. So go back to 15-16, 224. He suffered that really horrible injury while on international duty. 129, 16-17, 17-18, 84, 18-19, 132. The season we won the league, he only missed 2 days because of injury. That was just a virus, I believe, or a knock. 2020-21, 232 days. 21-22, 33. 22-23, 22. 23-24, 6. And then last season, he missed 137. That is a damning indictment of where Joe Gomez is up to. And I think that what we're doing at the moment, keeping Gomez, is doing no one any favours. No club with any semblance of needing a centre-back is going to be wanting a Joe Gomez who's this injury prone. And it's not even like he's someone who suffers little niggles or knocks. He suffers major Achilles problems, tendon issues, ACL issues. It's consistently top level injuries that he suffers. We are reducing his price tag. We should have sold him when we had the opportunity, and that's not a thing. He's been here a long time. I get it that he's good. Been here long enough to get a testimonial. He's the only player in the squad to be here before Jurgen Klopp even turned up, but he doesn't contribute because he's always injured. And at the moment, we've got 3 centre backs. And Slot said himself yesterday, we don't have an issue at centre back. We said the same thing in 2020 when we ended up with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams at centre back, and Henderson at centre back, and Fabinho at centre back, and Ozan Kabak, and I'd say Ben Davies, but he didn't even play. we're going to be in that situation again if this continues, because there's no guarantee that Konate is going to stay fit. Van Dijk's 34 now, and I know that he's not up to full fitness, but he's still, he didn't look great yesterday. He will get back to his best. We know he will. It's pre-season. Don't read too much into it, but there's no guarantee of anything. Joe Gomez, there is a guarantee of one thing: he will get injured consistently. 2 seasons there, maybe 3, that he hasn't been consistently injured. The season we won the league, and then before that, it was 23-24 where we finished in the... I've completely forgotten now what we did. Didn't win the Europa League. That was ours. Slot's final season even. Someone said at least it's not his knee. And everyone's saying Cresswell. Cresswell might be a good shout from Toulouse. You know what? Let's have a look at Cresswell. Charlie Cresswell. Let's get some stats up on the go here. Charlie Cresswell, because there's a lot of people ranting and raving about him the other day. Not ranting, raving about just how good he is. It might be an interesting option. 22 years old, born in Preston. Let's get some stats up here from the... Do League On, because I think if you're doing the League On based on the 365 days against Europe's top 5 leagues, might be in for a bit of a rough reality there. And someone just rightfully pointed out, Gahey was not involved in Palace's last match. Just saying. According to Wiki, we paid 37.5 million for Diaz. I'll take Wiki with a pinch of salt. The deal that I found was 40 million euros plus 20 million euros after 5 years. That was Fabrizio reporting at the time, so that equates to probably around the same amount. Not too much difference. Defo, a defender needed. Well, we'll look at Cresswell then. So I think the issue with us at the moment is we need someone who's ready-made to come in. That's why a Gahey would be great. That's why a Castello Lucebo would be phenomenal. We need someone who's able to step up immediately. We don't need a backup who's going to develop into something good. We're not that team anymore. We're a team who needs ready-made first-teamers who can jump in if Konate gets injured or Van Dijk needs a rest, like a Mark Gahey, like a Lucebo. Someone like a Cresswell, like this is in League On last season, top 27% for blocks, top 13 for clearances, won 3.4 aerials a match, was in the top 3%. That's great to see. In terms of his actual standard stats, XG and all that, we don't really need to look at this. Shooting, passing's not great, which he may struggle with in our slot system. Very possession-based. We saw that yesterday. How we're going to control the ball, how we're going to play with it. 90.6 completion rate, short, and 90.9 medium is okay. That's fine. Not expecting to be like an incredible passer into the penalty area. That's not something we need. Defensively, dribblers tackled. He's got a 60.9 success rate. Blocks top 27%, 1.53. Tackles and interceptions, 2.19. Clearances. He feels like someone though who, this is just from what I've read here, looks very much like he'd be suited to a team that's just been promoted and they need someone on the edge of the box, clearing the ball and winning balls in the air. Just a brick shithouse at the back who's just going to be tall and completely dominate the ball whenever it gets near them. He might be someone who is ready to go in a couple of years, but I'd rather someone like a Gahey, who I can get in the team, a leader who's just won the FA Cup with Palace, get him on a cheap fee or cheapish. If Konate is out, Gahey can step in. Cresswell, while he looks like a project, while he looks like someone who could develop into something good, 22 years old now, we need to start thinking about what we need now. We've just won the league. We're going to be going for another one. We need someone who's ready-made to step into this team. People are saying Collins from Brentford, not an awful shout, but is he good enough on the ball? We'd have to have a look at that. I'm asking the question, by the way. I'm not saying. Collins played every minute and has a good long pass completion. Gahey is 5'11". Gahey is 5'11". He's not the tallest player in the world. That is a problem with him. It's his aerial win rate is pretty poor. But I think on the ball, defensively, someone who's going to be able to progress play from the back, I think Gahey's one of the best options you can be going for. He's a captain. He's a leader. Endo will be our 4th or 5th choice centre-back. No, it's not. I love Endo, but he's not. We should not be in a position where our 4th choice centre. It's not even 4th choice. It's 3rd choice now. At the moment, Wataru Endo is our 3rd choice centre back. He's a CDM. He's a defensive midfielder who is a brick that you stick in midfield to see out the match. We can't be in a situation where there's no panic stations because we've got Endo. We said that about Fabinho 2020-21. Soon as Van Dijk went down and Matip went out, we ended up in a horrible scenario where Fabinho was a centre-back. He got injured against Ajax. Henderson ended up as a centre-back. He got injured. We ended up with Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, who did a job absolutely fine. But we scraped Champions League football that season. We just about made it into third place on the final day of the season against Palace. We can't be fighting for the league with Endo as your third choice centre-back. That can't happen. That cannot, under any circumstances, take place. We've seen Robertson at centre-back in pre-season. I don't want him there. We've seen Szoboszlai go at right-back. Don't want him there. We need to bring in centre-backs. If we don't, our transfer window goes from the best in the league to top 8. Because what good is it having this incredible attack of like Ekitike, maybe an Isak, a Florian Wirtz, if you don't have a structural defence to support it? If you just have, Van Dijk, Konate, great. Are they going to play every single minute of every single match next season? Because don't forget as well, it's not just the Premier League. We're going to be in Champions League. We're going to be at cup competitions. Who is going to be the rotation with them? They cannot play 60 plus matches a season. What about the young lad called Lucky or Nalo? Nalo is still a young prospect. I think we saw what happened against PSV. It's great. I'd happily see him progress into a first teamer. I'd like to see the option there for him. It's just a bit too soon. We saw it with Vandenberg. We saw it with Billy Koumetio. There's a lot of centre-back is such a aggressive position to be in, and there's a lot of pressure on you. Sticking Nalo in there might be a bit much for him too soon. Maybe if you want to put him on the bench every now and then, absolutely fine. It's the only way he's going to really learn. But we just need more solidity. I'm telling you that's the way it is. He's played many games in Germany in that position. I think they're not going to spend the money on a big centre-back this summer. Look, if the option is get a new centre-back or get Isak, I want a centre-back. I'd rather a defence. We've got plenty of forwards. Isak now is just being touted because it's there. But for the sense of it, you need a centre-back at this point. He played centre-back. I mean, he did it last season. We saw it. He did it against Accrington, did it against Southampton. But he gets caught out on the turn so often. Was Brighton the same thing happened to him? He might have done it in the Bundesliga, and I know he did. He did right back at points as well. But it's not... We can't be in that situation where your defensive midfielder is your centre-back option. That cannot happen. That cannot be the case. I think next summer is where we're going to be looking for the Van Dijk replacement. If we wait till next summer, there's every chance we're going to be looking at the Konate replacement. He might not be here. And then at that point, what are we left? We're left with one main team centre-back. And I know there's weeks left, and I know that we're in a situation where we could still go out and we could sign people, and I think we will. But to say next summer is where we're going to sign Van Dijk's replacement or look to, by that point, we might be looking for Konate's replacement. Then we're going to have to sign 3 centre-backs in the one window to replace Konate, to look for Van Dijk's potential replacement soon, to look at someone who can be behind them. We've just got to sign someone, 1 or 2 centre-backs this window. Gomez is not going to stay fit. He will come back from this injury, play a game or 2, go off with another injury. We're playing Arsenal Newcastle in the next few weeks, not early. So yeah, we need to get it done. We need to get this done. Gahey, I'm telling you, it's done under the radar, yet to come out. I hope so. I really, really hope so. I think Palace have been waiting to find out what's happened with this Europa Conference League situation. Now that they know, now that Gahey's still saying that he's wanting to leave, I think he'll do it. Edwards and Hughes have got it in hand, and I fully trust that they do. I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to be... They are going to completely sort this out. They will have it in mind. Slot saying, oh, no, we haven't got a centre-back crisis. Probably just to keep morale high. Probably just to put everyone at ease. Unless he knows something we don't. Unless they know about the Gahey deal and he's saying, we haven't got a crisis. With a smug little look in his head. I don't know. I hope that we bring in centre-back depth because we need to. We cannot be in that situation again. And it's no disrespect to Endo, and to be fair to Reece, like I get it. Like I understand he can do a job there, but I want people who are good there, not people who can do a job there. Not someone who you can stick there because you're like, we just get someone in that position. I want someone who's good for that position. I want someone who's going to develop, someone who's going to contribute, someone who's going to be able to step into that back line and progress play from the back. Someone who's good defensively, someone who's capable on the ball, like a Gakey, like a Luke Haber, as I've said like 10 times. Not an Endo who is a good defensive player, but isn't the best on the ball, isn't going to contribute to the system other than being a lump that you stick at the back. If I wanted that, we should have kept Nat Phillips. It doesn't make sense to me. Liverpool, he said we haven't replaced Quansah yet, which is a big thing, and look at Virgil van Dijk from Slot. What centre back would you suggest we go for then when you... What's Anna backward? I might be reading this wrong, I'm not going to lie. How much you spent already in the market? Well, don't forget as well, we're also selling Nunez. We're also selling Elliott, probably soon. We're also selling Diaz. Chiesa still being linked with moves away. Tyler Morton's probably going to get us a couple of quid. And don't forget, we've still got the Coutinho money to work with. Come on now. We've still got the Iago Aspas funds that we made. I just think with all the sales going on, I'd rather bring in a Gahey and some more depth in other areas of the pitch than spend it all on an Isak and then potentially be like, okay, we're done now. Look at 2013-14, where we had Suarez and Sturridge scoring 3-4 goals a match. But then we had a defence which had Martin Skrtel, Mamadou Sakho, Ali Sissoko, Glenn Johnson. It doesn't matter if you've got an incredible attack. If your defence is leaking 50 goals a season, which we're not going to, by the way, this is just an example, it doesn't work. What centre-back would you suggest Liverpool by considering how much money they've already spent in the market? Because at the moment, I'm struggling to find or think of a centre-back of that quality. Gahey. He's just the one that I would be interested in. Castello Luqueba is just another one who's one of the best ball-playing centre-backs in Europe at the moment, who's going for a slightly lower price. They're my two options. They're the two that I would want. You can get Gahey for a decent fee, ready to go, ready-made. Luqueba, same story with him. We've spent a lot of money, but don't forget, like I said then, we're expected 100 million plus from Nunez and Diaz sales. You then got Chiesa's fee, which is around 15 million. Elliott's around 30 to 40 million. There's a lot of money to be recouped there. The money we've spent so far is like money we've saved up and saved up and saved up, and we're nowhere near breaching any of the financial rules and regulations. Anything that we sell now is just bonus on top of that. We've got so much to work with, even though we've spent a lot of money. If we're in discussion to want to sign Alexander Isak before we've even sold the likes of Nunez and Diaz and Chiesa and Elliott, imagine what it's going to be like when we do actually sell them. There is still wiggle room to work with here. I think we get Gahey for under 40 million, but if not, for a free next season. I just think now, given the Gomez situation and the fact that we sold Quansah, that has left us in a situation where we can't wait till next summer, especially because we don't know what's going on with Konate. Is he going to be here? We don't know. He might be leaving. It's a horrible situation to be in. And you know what? It says so much about where we've come as a club, how far we've came, where you go back to 2014 and the issue was, who's going to score as a goal between Balotelli, Lambert and Barini? Now it's, we want to sign Alexander Isak, but we also need to bring in centre-backs to partner one of the best centre-backs in top-flight English football history in Van Dijk. It's such a mental turn of events. I only think we get one in centre-back this summer. I agree with that. I do think we'll only bring in one. I can't see us bringing in like 2 or 3 like people are suggesting. If we do, great. But I completely agree with that. What player would you suggest? Because I'm struggling to think of one that can replace Virgil long term. Replacing Virgil is a difficult one to suggest. I honestly couldn't tell you. I really, really couldn't, because you're never going to replace Virgil. When Sami Hyypiä left, we really struggled to fill that mantle. That was when we started going for the likes of Sotiris Kyrgios. Daniel Agger was there beforehand, but he stepped up into the mantle a bit. We had Skrtel. You know, we've when you lose those big leaders at the back, it takes time to replace them. Van Dijk, trying to think of someone who can replace him is a near impossible task. I could not name you anyone capable of doing it at the moment, because no one can. We're going to have to go in a different direction. He could do the sort of Thiago Silva long-term role, but yeah. And he put lol, so I think I just gave a very bad answer. Can we terminate Gomez's contract, injured every season, get another defence and Isak? Fine. I mean, yeah, I don't want to see the contract terminated, but I just think he should have been sold, to be honest. Gahey, Isak. Gahey covers Virgil van Dijk. I think we need a centre-back more than Isak, but let's get Isak. We should have sold Gomez when Newcastle were interested. That was my point. That was my argument, because in hindsight, last season, Gomez didn't contribute much. He had the occasional game, did fairly decent, but nothing that you could say won us the league. Major contribution to us last season. Season before, when he was playing at left back, right back, centre back, CDM, fine, fair enough. Last season, if Gomez wasn't there, would we have really missed out too much? I don't really think so. But, benefit of hindsight, who knows? But I think that is going to wrap us up, guys, because in terms of the Isak front, there's not a huge amount to say. We still want him. He still wants us. It just comes down to whatever the deal is that gets agreed. Hopefully, we can manage that soon. But let me know in the comments down below. Do you think we'll get Alexander Isak? Do you think that we should be prioritising a centre-back? And do you think that Reece putting lol to me was him giving me grief? Because I think it was. And yeah, what a time. What a time to be a fan. It's been an incredible few weeks. And I feel like it's only just going to get better. I feel like we got set back so much. Once Robert Gomez ended go, we'll replace much younger players, be in much better shape, and then the eyeballs and the tick. So I'm hoping that means we're going to get Isak. If you're new around here, like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. Thank you so much for letting me be here, and thank you so much for letting me be involved. I really, really do appreciate it. It's a massive honor to be able to do so, and yeah, I'm glad that you guys seem to be enjoying me being around. Trying to read my script here. Well, I say my script, but it's not a script. Make sure you listen to us on the audio pods. Make sure to check out the articles at AnfieldIndex.com. There's so much incredible work that goes in behind the scenes there, and a lot of different articles and things that'll pique your interest on Alexander Isak. Check out the blogs on Substack at itwasaliverpool.com, and make sure to click like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for being involved and for watching.